I'm traveling from place to place and state to state to meet with my family members, to talk with them about their memories that they have about our family, talk with them about memories that they have about their own lives so that we can get to know one another better. This is that journey.
I have more negative memories, sadly, than I do positive, because even when he came back, I have more negative memories than good memories. We had some good times and stuff, but Daddy played me and Jessica against each other, and he would just say things and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm more at peace with everything. Like, I can talk about everything just fine, because I cussed Daddy out twice. You picked me up from one of those. So the first time, he moved into my house and thought that he was just going to run his mouth. Y'all don't know me. So it didn't go like that. And I laid him out, and he got very upset because I told him that our stepdad had to pick up his slack. And that's the truth. Yeah. He left. He had to come in and deal with all the aftermath and stuff like that. So, our stepdad picked up his slack, and I made sure that was known. And guess what? He continued to stay with me for 2 years. So guess what? And then the other time, we were at Chili's, and I don't know how we got on the topic, but he was just being really nasty to me. And I was not having it, okay? 1 or 2 drinks in, whatever, I was not having it. And the nastier he got, the louder I got. And he was just like, you're fired. And I was just like, you won't fire me when you live in... I went off up in there. And then he was like, well, he wanted to leave. I'm like, I ain't getting in the car with you.
Here, you want this?
So, yes, I'm so sorry. So sorry, I'm just having hot flashes. You see... So yeah.
You said that he tried to tell you you're fired, and then what happened?
Oh, I continued to go off. He won't fire me. I continued to go.
And he rode with you? Or
yeah,
you drove?
I drove because he wasn't able to really drive like that. He would get up early or overnight or whatever and leave out and not tell me. So I would be knocking on his door in the morning to check on him and get no answer. So I'm thinking he's dead. So I finally am crying. And this is several times. I get the courage to go inside, and then he's not in the bed, but the bathroom's closed. And I'm just like, oh my God, is he in the floor? So, so he was riding with me. So I let him take the car, and Denise came and picked me up.
A lot of that stuff I don't remember. Some I definitely do. I remember definitely that time when, and I didn't know it was because, like, don't fall asleep or don't brush your teeth, like regular healthy things that little girls should be allowed to do at night when they spend the night.
Narcissistic stuff. I said so it shouldn't be happening.
Yeah. Well, what was it like to live with him as an adult? You touched on it a bit. I'm bringing all the hot flash out.
I know. Look, we got the fan on high and everything.
So living with him just on a regular, like, day to day. I know, and you already answered one of my questions. I was going to ask you, do you have more positive or negative memories overall? But just on a day-to-day basis, living with him. He was diabetic. He was an alcoholic. He was not, a diabetic that was, like, consciously, intentionally trying to maintain and extend his life. He was just winding down the clock.
He was living his life the way that he wanted to. If he was going to drink, then he was going to drink.
Yeah.
And he did. He drank almost daily. No, he drank daily. He drank daily.
But you were definitely there more than me. I didn't spend a lot of time with him during this time because of the things that we experienced as children, because of how he was when he was here. It's like when our dad was in a good mood, he made you want to be around him. Like, that's all in the world that you wanted.
Yeah, Daddy!
Yes. But when he wasn't,
Daddy.
Yeah, it was like, and then it was like, I'm not gonna just wait for your next mood swing. Like, I just didn't spend time with him like that. And I kind of wonder, should I have more, but then I have to tell myself, you know what, I didn't owe him that.
I mean,
He left.
you didn't miss out on a lot of good times. You know what I'm saying? Like, me and Daddy, we would chill sometimes, you know, in the room, have some drinks or something like that, or maybe go out to Cheesecake Factory or something like that. Every blue moon. He spent more time with Jessica, who did not live with me, than he did with me. I remember one day they were like, we're going for a ride, and next thing you know, they're in New York, and he's taking her to the I forgot what hotel they said. That's a really nice hotel. You know, did all these wonderful things and stuff like that. And he would take her out to dinner all the time. And he would go over and spend the weekend at their house. And I finally had to ask, like, why are you not doing that with me? And he looked at me and told me, because I'm the norm.
Oh, he didn't.
You know, so he took me through a lot. And after he passed, you know, it was sad. It was our dad and stuff like that, you know. But after he passed, it was like, wow, that hurts. And then it was like, whew, I'm glad that's over.
I can only imagine. What?
Oh, let me tell you this.
Oh, okay.
So while we're living together and all this back and forth with Jessica, he would tell me that they're moving back to Chicago. And I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? We moved out of my place, and my mom bought a house so he could pay the mortgage and I would pay the utilities. That's how the argument at Chili started. Mm-hmm. Because I'm only making a little bit of money. I got to keep, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing the best I can, right? But so he did that back and forth. And while I was in Ohio, I think I went to Ohio or I went to Richmond. I think I went to Ohio to visit some friends. And I was gone for a week, me and CJ. He was little. And, because CJ had his room upstairs. I had the master. Daddy had a suite downstairs with a full bath. And so that way he didn't have to do the steps that were at my old house. While I was gone, Jessica and her ex came up with a plan. And when I came back, they were living in Daddy's room. And Daddy was upstairs in CJ's room. And that was so they could save money so they could go to Chicago. So now I'm like, well, crap, I can't afford this place. I got to find a place to live. So I found a place based on my income. Oh, we're not moving now. So I let it go. Oh, we're moving. So I find another place. Oh, we're not moving. So by the third time, I'm just like, I don't care. You know, I'm not going to tell you until it's time because I'm tired of this back and forth. So I finally moved over to River Birch. And then they said they are not moving and kept the house.
Wow.
Jessica and her ex took the master, and Daddy went back down into his room, and they kept the house. Daddy gave me his car, because my car that I had bought was a total lemon. It was 2 lemons. And, I mean, the whole bottom was rusted out. They didn't fix my brakes. My brakes went out while I was driving. It was a terrible car. So Daddy started letting me drive his car, and he was going to let me put it in my name and have the car. So the Friday that I told him, hey, I get paid today, I can go put the car in my name. I can switch the insurance in my name today. He told me that he is keeping the car and giving it to Jessica.
Wow.
And I was like, well, I already sold my car. What am I supposed to drive? He said, you're going to have Jessica's car. I said, but Jessica's car has a car payment. He said, I know. They will pay on it for 6 months, and then you're on your own.
Man.
So then I moved.
Plan.
So then I moved out. I moved into River Birch. I was supposed to switch jobs the Friday before that Monday, where I was supposed to start my new job. The old job called me and told me that I was supposed to drive transportation for school. He gave his vehicle to his daughter. Just like that, I had no job because I was training my replacement when they called me.
Wow.
So I was up without a job for 7 months. Daddy said he would help me. He gave me not 2 pennies to rub together. And 2 months after that, after I got Jessica's car, the catalytic converter went out.
Oh, man.
So I think that's the only thing that still frustrates me because I've been trying hard, and it's like I feel like I've been trying even harder since then, like trying to get out of this debt and this hole that I've been in, trying to get my credit back up. Like, it was just a mess. It was a mess. So they stayed in the house. And then most of that time, Daddy was in the hospital. One time he got drunk and went to sleep and became unresponsive and ended up in the hospital for 2 months. Came home, stopped drinking, kept smoking, became unresponsive, ended back in the hospital for another couple months. And and then our stepdad would go see him almost daily, and they became really good friends. But yeah, so in a nutshell, because that's really all it is, that's my life with Dwight Walker.
Thank you for sharing that. Will you tell me your memories of his leaving from when he used to live with us until Rachel was 6, I was 8? What do you remember about that?
When he left?
Yes.
I know that, I mean, at the time, all I knew is that we woke up to Mommy sitting in the middle of her bed crying and said, your dad left us. Mm-hmm. And we all sat there with her crying. Now, later on, I learned why we moved, why we switched cars. We had a big 3-story house, and he moved us into a small apartment and paid the rent for a year. Narcissistic. He put Mommy in a better station wagon, so there would be no issues there. And he, for a long time, planned his escape. And one day, he just woke up, told her, I'm leaving you, and grabbed his bag, his raggedy old duffel bag, and walked out the door.
He did. He calculated it. And, you know, we were blindsided. We would have never known. But the thing is, that makes it even more wild is how he told us later when we would see him, mm-hmm. the times that he would show up, because I remember vividly, because when I was 8 when he left, he would come every Saturday. I think it was for a year. Mm-hmm. Every Saturday, 10 o'clock, pick us up, take us out, cut our hair, teach us how to cuss. But also take us to do fun things.
I didn't know it was every Saturday. I don't remember.
It was every Saturday, 10 o'clock sharp. We could.
You're probably sitting out there for hours, just waiting for 10. Don't break. Has to take a step.
But after that year, then he told us he was moving, or told me that he was moving to Roanoke, Virginia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I remember the in and outs years at a time. And I remember seeing Uncle Richard and always running to him, Daddy, Daddy! And he would have to tell us, no, I'm sorry, baby, I'm not your daddy.
Yeah.
And then we'd be all sad and stuff. And so when we do see Daddy, it's just like, we ain't falling for that one again. and it'd be him. So,
right.
Because they looked so much like it wasn't even funny.
Yeah. And their mannerisms and everything.
Yeah, so. Yeah.
But yeah, for you to come pick your children up and tell them how you calculated leaving them.
Because of your mother.
Right. It was almost every single time that we saw him in those times that he had something negative to say to us about her. The woman you left, mm-hmm. who's still taking care of us.
Right. That we never bought. We never bought it. We never brought it up. At least I didn't.
No, don't talk about my mom.
Right. We never questioned her or anything because we were there. When he walked out and saw her sitting there, we knew from that moment this ain't had nothing to do with her.
Right.
And we knew how Dad, even though we're little, we know that Daddy's the crazy one. So, yeah.
And the reason that he said that he was angry with her or that he would disappear is because she was trying to collect child support. As if
he told
you left her with 3 children.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't pay.
Yeah. He told Grandma. Because Grandma, we were upset with Grandma for a little bit because she would always know where he was. But she wouldn't tell us because he told her, I will never talk to you again if you tell them where I'm at.
That's funny. I was just telling Richie this because I had told him like how Grandma knew, but I didn't know that part. I just, to make sense of it, I reasoned that he probably told her like, well, I'll cut you off if you tell me.
No, that's exactly what happened.
Wow. So, yeah.
He had her at hostage. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, because she loves her son. So yep, no, that's what happened.
And that was her baby.
Yep. And then when you were saying leaving, I thought you meant his death. So the way that he passed, Jessica, they were in the house, and that Friday, because he was on dialysis at this point, He was in kidney failure. He had total neuropathy in both of his legs. He was in congestive heart failure, and he was losing his eyesight. And so he was going. I would pick him up and take him back and forth to dialysis, or at least pick him up. I think Jessica take him in the morning. I pick him up the evening, back and forth like that. And he was tired of going to dialysis. You're cold. You're hurting and all the stuff like that. Then you get the medicine, get the blood, all the stuff. You feel better, and then it starts to wear off, and then you got to go back. So it was this constant cycle. So he was tired of that. He was on hospice. So that Friday, he went to dialysis. And then he wasn't supposed to go back until that Monday. That Monday morning, he called hospice, and the nurse came out, and he told her, "I don't want to do this anymore." So Jessica called me, came over, and we started. He wanted to go through his belongings of who gets what and stuff like that. And so as we're doing it, he was like, "See, isn't this better than y'all fighting over things?" We were like, "I guess, We're just going through his stuff and packing him up to go out to Spring Hope, to the hospice facility. And he died the next day. We went out there that morning. He did not look good. He was a vegetable, which they said that would be more, we would see that because of the morphine. But at the house, he was like, "Well, everyone is different, so don't worry about that." He was like, "I've never died before, so I don't know what to tell you." But so earlier we were like, "Okay, so this is what you're talking about." By the time we got home, it was an hour away, 45 minutes to an hour. By the time we got back, we got the call that he took a turn for the worse. So then we told everybody, my mom, my aunt, spouses, all that stuff, went out there. Well, he wasn't my spouse at the time, but we all went out there, and I believe that, this is how I know y'all is merciful, because he got exactly what he asked for. He said that everyone's not going to be a vegetable and stuff. When we got there, he was sitting up, he was talking, he was laughing, he was singing with us. I'm trying to find that video. Yeah. He was singing with us. Mommy sang to him.
And when I walked in the room, because I think I was one of the last ones to get there, and when I walked in, he saw me. He said, "Denise." Like, he recognized me, and I was like, just be able to go and say goodbye. Yeah. Y'all was merciful to all of us.
Yeah, he had a real big burst of energy. He had a sip of white green tea, and he nibbled on a vanilla wafer. And then as people started leaving, then he went to sleep. And we were sitting there talking and stuff, and then we said that we were going to go. And he woke up, he said, "Go? I can go?" We were like, "Yeah, Daddy, you can go."
Wow.
And so me and you left, and then Jessica left about an hour later, and he died an hour after that. And then it was over.
And that was that. It's all such a blur to me. It really is. What was it like living with Dwight when you were an adult?
Probably like it was living with him as a child.
Even though he was not strong anymore.
Right. So he wasn't living with me when he took me to New York. Okay. But we would, by the time I was living with him, he could barely drive. I had to take his keys. So that was difficult, right? Because he was very mad at me about that. And then, I wouldn't go buy his cigarettes for him and things like that, because I'm like, you're not just going to kill yourself and yourself. Yep. I had him at the caregiving stage. Okay. So it was fun in the sense, he was excited to go through the pregnancy with me. Okay. Because he, had missed out several times over. So he liked that. He helped me pick out Renee's name. He gave her the middle name, Sophia.
Oh, didn't know that.
So we went back and forth. Was she gonna be Sophia Renee or Renee Sophia? And then we would sit in front of the fireplace, and he would play songs for me and Damien, just a snippet, and have us guess the song. Okay. I have all his DVDs and CDs, and so like his CDs, they didn't when they stopped making singles. he has like a sticker on it, and they'll have all the numbers, because not every song he likes, so he know what to just put on when you put it in there. So now we have like a collection of his favorite songs. That even now Renee at 15 years old knows these old songs. The Chamber Brothers, So Tired. Let's see. So those were the fun parts. You know, the not so fun parts was when he would drink well more than he should, and he would go into these comas. And so every day I would go downstairs and I would pray, Lord, please don't let me find him dead in his room. And I would go in, and then sometimes he'd be in a coma, right? A sugar coma, glucose coma, whatever you want to call it. So he would either crash and he would go into a coma, and I would have to like put icing in his mouth or something like that, or because it would be too low for anything else, or he'd be too high and I'd have to give him I don't know, what is it, insulin, something, you know. If he went too high and I couldn't wake him, there was twice I had to call the EMTs, and he was a DNR, but he wasn't dead,
right?
So he would be mad. You know, I'm a DNR. Why do you know? And I'm like, look, first of all, it wasn't like you were trying to, I don't know if you were trying to kill yourself. But I'm like, I told you can't die in here.
Yeah.
Okay, I told you that.
Right.
I said, how does it look? I said, I can't not save your life.
Right.
If we're in the hospital, it's one thing. But, when he started dialysis, he had a port in his arm. So when his sugar spiked, I started learning. When his sugar spiked and he was in a sugar coma or whatever, he would snore really hard. So I knew what to treat, right? Because it would either just say high or low, right? And low was like after 30. You know, he's like, they would sometimes be like, I don't know how he did not die.
Wow.
And then other times, if he wasn't making any noise, he was super duper low.
Okay.
And you know, just several occasions of saving his life.
Wow.
And in other times, you know, I'm a Marine. I don't need no help, but your legs don't work, your hands don't work. So he would have issues in the bathroom, and he would lock himself in there, and he wouldn't let me in because he wouldn't let me see him like that. So then he would stay in there all day until Damien got home from work, so Damien could help him.
Wow.
But while he would lock himself in there, I would clean up his bed, clean his room, you know. So at least when he got back out, then, you know, his bed was clean, new chucks down, all that kind of stuff, and he'd go, yummy.
Wow.
So it was difficult.
Did he ever talk to you about his time in Vietnam?
Yes.
What can you tell me about that?
He did a lot of drugs.
Okay.
He did a lot of drugs over there. They all did, he said. It kind of grew over there. Heroin was just kind of, or whatever you use to make heroin was growing. So they would just get that, or in marijuana. And he said, you know, they would be sitting, the barrack roofs were flat, and they would have their chairs up there, getting high, drinking, watching another base get bombed. Talking about, glad that ain't us. He said another night, they'll be on their barracks, saying the same thing about them.
Wow.
Didn't
How
know,
long
you
was
know.
he there?
I think like, it had to be at least a year.
Okay.
He was there for at least a year.
I only remember one time him telling a vivid story about, you know, them being over there and bombs coming. But it was at Grandma's house, and he was talking to me and Javon. And I don't know, you know, if it was just us, but that's the only one that I actually remember. Like, a bunch of stuff I don't remember.
I used to ask him though. You know,
Oh, okay.
Tell me the story with the.
Yeah, because the sound effects were out of this world.
His sound effects. I mean, it's why I am who I am. I make sound effects daily. Daily. It's not a story without sound effects. Okay, so, and it's so funny because one of my trainers at works now, he makes sound effects He'll tell us. He's like, so you're gonna put it here and here. You should hear do 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 do, or you're gonna do the pop 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 pop, or you're gonna do the ding 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 ding. You know, like he. And I'm just loving it. I was like, word, I missed this. You know.
Nice.
Yeah, it was cool. But he was a king of sound effects.
Okay. So do you have peace in, like, just as far as your relationship? Do you still feel like you have unfinished stuff, or like, do you have closure? Like, how did things go for you after, everything was concluded as far as his chapter being closed?
No, I'm at peace. I took care of him up until the day he went into hospice, and then he went into hospice on Monday and died on Tuesday. So literally up until he died. Yeah. For a year, that last year of his life. Yes. Even though that was hard, and there was a time where we weren't speaking, we got into an argument, and he was cursing me out in his room, telling me to get the F out of his room, and I'm like, this is our house, And I was like, I keep you alive. Like, you're not gonna kick me out. And he told me he was gonna throw me out. I'm like 8 months pregnant. I was like, I'd like to see you try. And I stood there and watched this man struggle to his feet for 5 minutes to hobble over and scream in my face one more time, get the f out. And I said, I'm going to knock you over. I said,
you experienced the shift in power.
Yes, and I was like, I said, there's no way I'm going to let you talk to me like this. You didn't raise me, and then you come back and I'm keeping you alive. I said, I will let you die in here. Yeah. I was pregnant, hormones, and he was going, and so we didn't speak for a while until after I gave birth.
Wow.
Damien used to take Renee in there to see him. I was like, he ain't see my daughter until he can apologize to me.
Did he?
One day he did, and I don't know if he apologized. He just started speaking to me again, and I was just over it, because at this point he's down. He passed away when Renee was 5 months old, so he was not great, and I knew. So I was in the kitchen, and it's like the Holy Spirit came and sat down on that stool. And he said, you need to get ready. And I knew exactly, because he's talking to my spirit. Mm-hmm. I knew exactly what he was talking about. And I started, I dropped whatever was in my hands. I started screaming and crying. And Damien was like, what is going on? And I was like, it's happening. It's going to happen. It's going to happen, And I'm freaking out. He died a month to the day later.
Wow.
So, but I knew, so we fixed it. Mm-hmm. We fixed it. And he, oh my gosh, he just loved Renee, because he couldn't hold her, so he would be laying in the bed. I would prop him up, and he would put his arm like this, and I would lay her here, and he would pull the blanket back and look at her toes, in her little fat rolls, and he'd tuck her back in, and he put his finger in her hand, and he just still got that baby smell. He enjoyed it so much, and that really tamed him down in his last months.
Nice.
But I told him, all them times that he could just lay there and listen to me, I talked.
Okay.
And I was like, you don't get to speak. That time we told him, you don't get to talk about Mom no more.
Was this at Rachel's? Was this that night?
Yeah.
I remember we went in on that man for a long time.
Because
how dare he talk about our mom? And it was like, that was it. Like,
right. He picked Joe for us and all that stuff. It was like, dude, get off your high horse. Yeah. But after that, even with the arguing with me and all that other stuff, he was real manipulative. Rachel will tell you her.
She did. I've interviewed her already.
Yeah. He was real manipulative and mean.
Yeah.
And he used me and Damien to. I didn't know what he was doing until it was over.
Really?
He was using us to push her out.
Yes.
He used to talk. He would talk bad to me about her, and I'm like, no.
Like, how you gonna talk about?
You don't get to do that. I said, she's keeping you alive. Like, we're literally taking care of you. How do you get to talk bad about anyone? That's what I used to when he was laying in that bed. That's what I used to just tell him. I'm like, you did her wrong. You did her dirty. You owe her an apology. Wow. I don't know if she ever got it, but I'm like, you owe her an apology before you die.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you got to tell him the things that were on your mind, things that he needed to hear and couldn't do anything about it. because only the power he had left was in his voice, which was intimidating. But
Right.
it was like, you know what, bro, you a bit mean.
Like, I'm literally standing here with your medication in my hand.
Which I could or could not give to you.
Right, that's what I said. I'm like, dude, I could let you literally die in here.
He probably wouldn't have. At that point, I don't even know if it would matter to him.
Because
Because
sick
the
and
thing
tired
is,
of being sick and tired.
he lived his. He didn't want to try to keep staying alive.
Right.
He knew he was
Sick, and he was gonna let it kill him.
Yeah. And he was like, I'm going to live how I want to live. I want to drink, I want to smoke, and I'm just going
Until
I
we brought
can't
him
anymore.
down, and then he wanted to try to save his life, but it was too late.
I don't remember him even wanting to save his life down here.
That's when he started dialysis and, going to the foot doctor and all of those things.
Okay, I thought he
That's
was
how he
on
got-
dialysis just because it was what
No,
the thing to do.
dialysis was to extend his life a little bit
Yeah.
and try to get, maybe give him a quality, but it didn't give him a quality, it made him worse. Just because he was so bad off.
Right.
Like he had hospice and dialysis. You don't normally get that.
Wow.
There was like no hope for him. They was just trying to keep this man comfortable while he was alive.
Okay.
So,
Well. Wow.
yeah. But he was definitely very manipulative.
Yeah. He was. That's what he did. And so what I was saying earlier, like with Uncle Richard having escaped, I mean, I know they're not the same person. I'm not saying escaped because that's just how it seemed to me, but
right.
he and his family, look at he and his wife, and the way that, like, I've never seen in my life the connection and devotion and love and commitment that I've seen between those two people.
Yeah.
And-
I want that.
Huh?
That's like hope for
Right.
me that is possible, because with the daddy issues between Dwight and Joe,
Yeah.
even I was both of their caregivers, so that's its own thing, but that's not where my issues stem from, but I'm just like, dang, I just want that, but I picked who I picked, or people were drawn to me because I didn't have a self-esteem. Like if dad's gonna be mean and beat on us and disappear, like,
Yeah. And that's I think it has made me very insecure.
Yeah.
Because he was captivating.
Right.
And not only even if he wasn't, even if he was the most boring man in the world, he's our dad and we wanted to be with him.
Right.
And the moments that we had with him were just like brief and fleeting.
And
Throughout our-
chaotic.
Yeah.
Like we were what? 17 and 19? 20 and 19? 20 and 18, something like that. When we went to Atlanta.
Oh,
So
no,
we-
honey, I
we
was
would-
17 and you were 15.
Yeah, we would see him periodically, right? Blue moons. And one time he was living in Atlanta because he was probably in Chicago and Atlanta, and there was one more place he used to be, maybe up in Maryland, but Chicago and Atlanta, like he just used to go back and forth. Wherever his they weren't garnishing his wages for child support,
Yeah.
because he would move.
Yeah.
But he took us to Atlanta. Took us to a club.
We had a ball.
He would just go to the bar, right, and bring back drinks, and we got drunk and danced and learned about nightlife. And I'm sure there was some lesson in there, like, well, if you're going to drink, I want you to drink with me or something. But we're 15 and 17,
Right.
or
like, why did
let
we
me
not
teach
get
you how
kicked
to
out?
right, or how to teach you. You probably paid them.
But you know how he
let
could
him
just
in.
charm people,
I'm
man.
telling
He
you,
could
man.
just- Brother was charming.
That was something.
If Two-Face was a person?
One more time for the people.
If Two-Face was a person?
That sums it up.
He cut our hair.
Why did he cut our hair?
I think he cut our hair to spite our mother.
All right, I think so
Okay, to
too.
piss her off.
I think so too.
He told us it was because it was too hot, and we didn't need all that hair on down our backs like that.
And he said also that when we were in the car, we put the windows down, and our hair gets all messed up, and we have the hurricane look.
Yes. And so he took us to grandma's, gathered all our hair up, thick, Rudy Huxtable hair, and didn't try to shape it or nothing. When we were going through grandma's things after she passed, well, actually, I saw it. I knew she had it because, you know, I had to take care of her, and she had me clean out under her bed one day. You know, because I did all the things, all the things. She had her hair.
Are you serious?
Uh-huh. She kept it. She said she cried that night.
I was wondering because he did it at her house.
Yeah. No, she had no
In
idea,
her
and she
bathroom.
was devastated for us, and she was so hurt. She put our hair in a bag and kept it.
Wow. Oh my God. Wow. And so the cussing also, do you think was for mommy? Do you remember that?
Yes. I think that was like on the same premise of the teaching us all the bones of the body. Just to give us information, like if we're going to like death. You know how he used to talk to us about death like every time we got with him?
Yeah.
You know, that it was natural and it's going to happen, and just put me in a pine box and, you know, that kind of stuff. Don't be sad, because, you know, all those things. I just think he was just trying to prepare us. Like, you're going to curse, so this is what they mean, and, you know, get it out your system. I don't know fully, but that's where I'm thinking, like, why make us sit so young in the library for hours, getting angry at us as we get more and more restless because we're not retaining this, because then he was quizzing us and all, like,
The stuff that is not relevant
right.
or applicable to growing up. But,
Right.
Okay. Do you think you have those pictures you took in New York?
Yes, I do.
Yep.
That sums it up.
But at the end of the day, I love you, Daddy.
Yeah. He was who he was. That's all I can say. Like, that's my thing about him that I've been saying. It's like, he was who he was.
Yep. He was who he was, and because of that, good, bad, or indifferent, I am who I am.
Right.
And, you know, I'm humble, but I'm the bomb.com.
Okay.
So, you know, I appreciate it, because one thing Daddy taught me was I'm a slow-moving train. I'm moving forward, and I don't go backwards. People have plenty of opportunity to jump aboard this train, but once I'm gone, I'm gone.
No, that's right. Okay. That's good advice. Yeah, he had stuff to say.
He took me to the Empire State Building. We went up to the very top. So this is me up there.
Oh, look at you.
And then this is the lobby of the W Hotel we stayed in. This is our room. There's Daddy.
There.
This is the $600 room night. $600 a night room.
Good gracious.
Right, that's it.
Location.
Bathroom, out the windows.
Didn't we see that hotel when we were there?
Yeah.
Isn't it green?
So we went down to the streets of New York. Chinatown. This was the 9/11 site.
Oh, wow.
I took a picture because they deliver. The park.
Before DoorDash.
Right.
Twins.
hmm This is the hospital he was born in.
Oh my gosh. You know what it's called?
St. Mary's. This is from Seinfeld.
Oh, really? Yes. Cool. Where? What part of New York is that? Do you know?
Manhattan.
Okay.
Can you get my fan, please? Do you see what's happening to me? This is the owner of Carnegie Deli. I don't remember his name, but he sent me across the street for this camera.
This is a nice photo of him.
And that is his very first employee.
Oh, wow.
And then we went to the Staten Island Ferry.
Things I've only ever heard of.
Got to see the Statue of Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
And then we came on back home. Stopped at the Big Boys. But that's just me after I cut my hair off. I don't know why that made it into there.
Very nice. Yes, I remember this. It was from our birthday cakes. Oh my god.
Yep, and you put the number, you put the cake little candle in there.
I think there's pictures of me blowing out a candle with this cake. I mean, with this on the cake when I was like 2 or 3.
Right, when we used to do that.
Yep. Before we knew.
You know how much of this stuff was grandma's or Aunt Dee Dee's or whatever? He would just go in and take their stuff.
That's how our family got down. Who is this?
This, I want to say, is grandma's. Someone on grandma's side. It might be a Walker side. You'll have to ask. Some of these don't have names. That's Ojeda.
Sorry.
This is the ship. One of the ships that Grandpa was coming back on.
They went by ship. Oh my gosh. Was that World War II?
Mm-hmm. I got more of the ships upstairs. Look at Grandpa Garcia.
Wow. This is the grandfather that we grew up knowing. I remember this person.
Look at
He was like an exchange student that stayed with them. Do you remember that? Yep.
Dwight, Grandma.
Oh my gosh, I have never seen this.
Look at my face. I do not want to be there. This is when Kenny was
Wait, let me get close.
This is Kenny went to the military. Javon.
Oh, hey, Javon. Look at you, girl.
Remember the fashion shows?
Yes, I do. Our grandma put on fashion shows.
This is where Rachel got her love for it.
Yep. I remember wearing them heels being, oh my gosh. Wait, let me take pictures of it. Wow. Oh my goodness. Wow.
So Grandma started giving me photos and different things. Like every time I came to take care of her, she would send me with something.
Wow.
Because she said, you know, she appreciated us taking care of her and she wanted to make sure we got things first, you know, before, because of what happened with Grandpa Garcia when he passed.
Yep.
And so she wanted to make sure we had everything, so.
Back that time when she told us to go ahead and put sticky notes
Right.
on
But
things.
those were some things she didn't want us to take, right? And she still wanted
Right.
to have sticky notes. This
Yeah.
was the stuff she was like,
Go ahead and take.
right. Like all her jewelry. I have all her jewelry.
I have a good chunk of it too. Her costume jewelry.
Yeah. Didn't we split it up? Didn't I give it to you? She sent me home with everything, and I thought we all sat down
Maybe.
and went through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does. I think I remember that lady. Look at Grandma. I remember her like
was it
this.
Letitia? That's not
I don't know. That's not Letitia.
How do I remember her names?
Because these people were in our lives.
Grandma was fly.
Yeah, she was. There's a picture at Simeon's house that I didn't get a chance to take a photo of. Or didn't take a photo of. But man, I had never seen it. It looked like her in a photo shoot, like a headshot or something. She looked amazing. Hey, Grandma. Simeon has this one.
Ziggy.
Yup.
All of Aunt Dee Dee's kids.
Nice. All of them together.
Remember, this was the first house that Grandma had in where the lake was.
Yep. Wow. Look at us.
Oh, see, Mommy was pregnant with us.
Yeah, I have some of these.
This was in Fairfax.
Aww.
Remember that sweater?
Yes, get it, Rachel.
Oh, is that Rachel?
I think so.
Oh, look at Peter.
Wow. Long time ago. And look at Ojada and Jamal and Javon.
Isn't this Vicky?
I don't think so. I mean, I could be wrong, but she could tell us. Cousin, is that you?
Right.
That's Uncle Sonny, though. I hadn't seen
Yeah.
him in so long. Oh, hey, Grandma.
Oh, look at this. It's got Aunt Dee Dee and Daddy in that one.
Wow.
Oh, here's Dad.
Yes, I saw that one too. That's CJ right there.
All right, all day. This is me in Chicago.
What a nice picture. You had good times. He was so handsome. Karen in Ghana, shout out. What's that? 89? 90.
Know her.
Yes, we do. I remember her.
Those classic old.
Man, what was her name? I know this
We're gonna
lady.
have to send it to Mom.
This is Letitia's daughter, Leslie.
Leslie.
But
Who
I
is
remember this
this?
lady. Oh, snap. Let me take a picture of that.
Now this got
Aw.
tore up. I don't know who's who on this. I think this is Sunny again. It's real young. That's Sunny, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, that's Uncle Sonny. I'll take a picture of this because this is just historic anyway. Why is it ripped? Okay. Okay.
Wish she used to play with us, you know?
Yes.
Wrestle with us and take us to the
She
park and all that
would.
kind of stuff.
She would wrestle with us.
Look, I got the address.
Yes. She would get ready in her workout clothes and wrestle with us.
That's
Wow.
our old address, or what? They're one of their old addresses.
Yeah, it's
but
gotta be theirs.
This is his. I'll put my finger here. It's got a social on it.
Wow. Oh, I miss him.
Me too. Me too. There's that guy Emmanuel again that they took in.
Oh man, I love this picture.
I love this one. Remember his room and this knife?
Yep, yep.
Get it, Grandma?
Oh snap!
This was also in Chicago. He took me on a
I remember
dinner
that
cruise.
picture. That's so nice.
I've been looking for some of these.
Oh my god. I'm gonna put a censored on it. Oh, hey little
Check out
Denise.
Grandma. Oh, here's another piece of the.
She's the bomb.
We're gonna put it together.
Say again what this is, please.
These are the schematics of a Home Depot in Georgia that he worked on.
Wow. I didn't know he did this stuff. I knew he was an architect. I did not know any details about his work. I don't think
So-
we ever talked about that.
Like, see, so this is a concrete siding here.
Yeah.
Then it'll be sheathing, installation. You know,
Wow.
so this is like the studs of the
That is
place.
so cool. Because Home Depot is one of my favorite places. I love.
bunch of contracts like that. So I got all sorts of like section.
The light section.
The light section.
I have
Home Depot and Lowe's.
I have his patent.
For the chair?
He didn't renew it. Like all those years they used to call us liars. Like, no, I have it. Oh, here's some sketches that he did.
he created the folding chair. Like my mom has a patent somewhere.
All his handwritten notes.
This is great stuff. Wow, Jess. Look at his handwriting.
Right? Layouts, you know how you would do the street layouts and everything.
Oh my gosh.
Although New York's transportation system is far from being new, it still provides millions of New Yorkers with an adequate transportation system.
That's amazing.
Yep, all sorts of stuff. All sorts of stuff.
So what will you do with these? Teach them the significance of them to your daughter and then give them to her?
I guess at this point I haven't been, right? So I probably should go through these pictures with her. I hadn't really opened it up like that because this is stuff I boxed up when he passed. You know, so it's literally just went from a few boxes. The last move, I just moved it all into here, but I haven't even really sat and gone through these photos in a really, really long time. So this
That'd
was
be a
nice.
nice project for y'all to have.
Yeah, I would definitely like to. I have like a lot of empty books in here because I wanted to try to at least put them in a book. I know I won't be able to organize them chronologically,
Yeah.
you know.
General
but,
periods of time, though.
Right.
Your nieces and nephews would also probably find value in that.
Yeah, good. Yeah, there's a lot. There's definitely a lot. I gotta find out who this is.
Yeah. Simeon, do you know who this is? Sure is fair.
I want to say it's Grandma's father.
But he looked different.
Her father. Her
John
step-
Mitchell.
Yeah, but her.
Not Pete Sherrod.
No, because the guy that's in the picture upstairs in my room is
It's
her
a stepdad.
Yeah.
That's
I think
Pete
this is her dad
Sherrod.
when he was young.
When he was young. Okay. Because, yeah, he looked Asian to me. I remember when she first showed me that picture. I mean, I didn't see it until, like brief, like just shortly before she was not in her apartment anymore. Well, I just want to say thank you for participating. Thank you for reminiscing. Thank you for educating me, taking me through some archives. I really, really appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. And this was good. This was good. Thank you.
Well, there you have it, folks. Just trying to give a full picture from the people who knew Dwight Walker and what he was like. So that was perfectly timed.
Yeah.
All right, Rachel. I love you. I love you too.
I guess I'll try to exit again.
Okay.
I love you.
Love you too, bro.
I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Please be safe. Keep
I
me
will.
posted on your whereabouts.
Okay. Okay, I'm about to be riding up on it. Timberley Way. Is that it? Well, this says no outlet. I don't think that was it. I wish this person wasn't behind me. Sussex Wood, Timberley Way. Please don't turn here with me. And of course they are turning. Oh my God, here is our street. I remember walking up this road from the bus stop, which was down at the corner. Why these cars look the same as like the same age as when we lived here? This is where we lived. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna try to go around the corner and get Grandma's house, but I will show y'all our house as soon as this person is not behind me anymore. These houses look exactly the same. I remember teaching myself how to ride a bike on these patches of mulch. Here's Grandma's house. Grandma and Grandpa lived here. And let me turn around. If that's their house right there, we lived right there. I'm trying to get footage without being a creep, without looking creepy and weird. But this was our house. We lived in 2 houses on this row, actually. This was the second one. And I'll show you the other, if I can just get like a parking space really quick without looking super suspicious and weird. I'm gonna just try to show y'all real quick and then I'm gonna get up out of here. Timberley Way. It's like no time has passed. Except everything looks smaller. That's it. These have a number on them, so I'm about to get out of these people's spot really quick. But if we can take a look at right here, that's 11609 Timberley Way. That's the first house we lived in on this row. And then we moved into that end unit right there. And that's where we lived until my dad moved us into an apartment not very far from here on Patterson Avenue, but it was definitely a downgrade because he was planning to leave. So he wanted to put my mother in an apartment that she could afford on her own. But yep, there was our first home right there, and then our second over there. And like I said, my grandparents lived right around the corner. And I remember crab apples on the trees. I remember blackberry bushes. I remember, like I said, teaching myself how to ride a bike. Right around there on those, where those trees are, and the trees behind it, there was patches of mulch. So I would teach myself to ride there. So yeah, I would teach myself to ride my bike there on those mulch patches because, you know, it was not like a hard ground. So if I fell, then I'd have a safe place to land. But yep, there's 11609 Timberley Way. That's where we lived when we first moved into this row of houses, and then we moved into that end unit. We definitely had some nice places where we lived. Here we didn't have a lot of furniture. Probably the money went towards the houses. We were here for at least a couple years because this is where we lived when I went to Pinchbeck Elementary. Even the library that's up the street, man, so many memories come flooding back because I think that I remember going in there. I remember getting picked up by my grandparents, you know, after school, and them taking us to McDonald's or Deep Run Park or wherever we would end up going. Sussex Wood, that's the name of this